Welcome to Opinionated with Resla.
What is good,
everybody? What is good? Welcome, of course, to yet another episode of Opinionated with yours truly. I am your host, Resla. You know how we get at it, gang. You know what's up. Listen, we already got Locksmith who just came in strong in the building and said, "What up, motherfuckers?" Yeah, I get it. I get it, my guy. I get it. Hopefully you guys actually be good for the actual episode that we got going on today. I appreciate everybody who's already showed us strong into the building. Whew, it has been quite a interesting day for a lot of people. Look, even my alarm's going up, my notification going up on other people's channels. So shout out to them as well. Hopefully you guys are actually having a pretty good day today. It has been a little bit of a freaky Wednesday for me for some reason. I know people say like you shouldn't date these things, but whatever. I do things a little bit differently because quite frankly, I do look at the things that I do with you guys back and forth more of a show, not just random live streams. I don't know why people look at things like that. They should be really taking a look at their interactions more on a close close personal level with you guys. But anyway, today, if you haven't figured it out, we are going to be talking about a couple of things. Sorry for the long TBA on this because I was literally trying to figure it all out, and I was literally researching behind the scenes, getting my mind right before I want to get into all this. But it's about, would you even like them if you weren't both messed up? And I know I left the title a bit ambiguous. But as we get into it, you'll understand a bit of what's going on, and then we'll see how we're gonna run things from there. Because all of this right now, folks, while we're in February, we're even going to be running halfway into March. Um, you're gonna see some things kind of change, but it's for the benefit for the channel all in itself. So hopefully you guys rock out with it. Congratulations to Krazy Mama. Krazy Mama, give her a good congrats. She has earned herself a nice little blue wrench. So people, be nice to her. Be nice in the chat. Be nice to the platform, or she might have to handle you. I just want to say that. I just gonna put that out there. I'm just gonna put that out there. All right, so let's get a little bit into it before we go on to our normal pleasantries. So, of course, guys, welcome to the platform. And here we pretty much like to keep it real, and we like to drop a lot of truths. No chaser. Funny that the no chase is in the building. He's not in the building yet, but when he does pop up in the building, there'll be no pun intended. I hope that you guys have pretty much have all your snacks ready because this one is gonna be quite the ride. And by the end of it, some of y'all might be eyeing some of the people that you consider to be your best friends. Like, wait, do I even like this person? Do I like her? Do I like him? And that's something that we're gonna have to talk about today. Look, I'm not here to ruin your group chat, but it gets ruined regardless. Well, maybe it needed to be. I'm not even gonna lie with you. Tonight, we're gonna be diving into the question that will have you all questioning your whole friendship circle. Are most friendships just trauma bonds? Let me say that one more time for you. Are most friendships just trauma bonds? And wait for it. Would you even like these people if you yourself weren't already messed up at the time when you met them? We let that breathe for a moment. Because I know some of y'all are already thinking about people in your lives. Let that breathe for a moment. Yeah, I'm going there. I'm going there. You know, I know you're already thinking to yourself about that one person that just doesn't quite fit, but you keep them around anyway. That one low key, dread hanging fruit of a person that you have been stuck with. Why? Because y'all been through some ish together. It's just what it is. So let's talk a little bit about that. Are y'all really friends even to this day? Or are you just trauma survivors with matching scars? We're going to have to unpack a little bit of that tonight because we're going to go deep, folks. But before we get a little bit deeper into that, of course, I want to thank everybody's in the building. Let me just scroll to the top, scroll to the top. Being that Big Player was already the first one to handle me. Silence notification. I don't want to get distracted with you guys, even if it's work. I'm not gonna be distracted with it. Big Players up in the building. Appreciate you for already coming. You were the first person to be up in the building, so I appreciate you. And then from there, let's see. Hey, Lefty was up in the building, so you're the second one up there. Thank you. Hey, Cardi was already up in the building. Appreciate you for being here. And then, of course, Krazy Mama. Again, folks, with the promotion. True Keys is up in the building. Appreciate you. Appreciate your True Keys. Oh, man. Who else popped up in here? I saw a couple of Imperious already walked up in here. He said, who likes women? Well, I like women. Oh, man. And then you already see freaking Krazy Mama already with the heat. Already with the smoke. Damn. God damn. That is crazy. The talented, the very friendly, the very accepting Mel Pandora in the building. Thank you very much for showing up, Mel. I know at your time right now, it is a crazy time frame, but thank you for staying up. Thank you for staying up. And then, of course, we have our resident motherfucker in the building, Locksmith Jeremy. He says, what up, motherfuckers? Absolutely. He's our resident Samuel Jackson, basically. He's the one guy that comes in here and ruins the word motherfucker every time. Every time. For sure, for sure. Look at that. My Nightbot is working perfectly. Look, okay. This might be one of those decent streams, ladies and gentlemen. Might be. Listen, you say it's a good topic. We're gonna see how it turns out today. We're gonna see how it turns out. He said, hey, listen, nothing, nothing. She didn't have to do anything. She just had to do everything you did. Just be a good participant. She's been rocking. She's been good with the channel. She's been promoting. She's been freaking solid with everything else been going on. She's been looking out for people in the chat. She's been making sure the bad apples get addressed. That's how she got it, sir. That's how she got it. There's nothing else underhand. Don't make it seem like that. Damn. Don't make it seem like that. All right. We have Miss Raven in the building. Appreciate you for being here. And look, already in with the oh my goodness, like making sure that you hit as much as you can. True keys, true keys, true keys, true keys, and true keys already starting out quick saying F all y'all already being up here, being the actual supporter of the stream right off the bat. I appreciate you, True Keys, making sure that the name was actually known. Hitting several, I'm getting several notifications in my background, right? Y'all like hearing that? I'm getting several notifications hitting me talking about True Keys already trying to run the building. Already, True Keys want the keys to the building for tonight's stream. Y'all gonna have to do something about that. This is crazy. Already strong out the gate. I appreciate you, True Keys. And speaking of another person I appreciate, someone who has given me a lot of good wisdom that I think about all the time, every time I decide to go live, is my guy, Caucasian Sasquatch. What's up, my guy? What's up in the building? I appreciate you. So let's get a little bit into the topic because I'm not gonna lie. I have been dealing with this for a good portion of the day. It has made me think about a whole lot of stuff throughout the day. And I might have to cook for a little bit on this one. This just might be one of those episodes I really gotta dive into because this aspect of people talking about friendship, right? We really gotta talk about. And the first thing I want to cover is the aspect of trauma bonding versus trauma bondage. That's not to be sexual, folks. It's not. I just know when I said it, it's not gonna be sexual. Let's get into it anyway. A lot of y'all are basically confused. You confuse trauma bonding with being close. But let's be clear, trauma bonding is not about shared experiences. It's not. As much as I like to believe it is not. It's about pain, folks. It is about pain being the glue that holds everything together. You're not friends because you genuinely vibe together. You're connected because of your quote surviving experience together. Maybe it was toxic relationship. Maybe it was financial struggles. Maybe it's a financial chaos. That's your bond? Is it? Is it real? It feels like home to you. But here's the thing we need to talk about. When you start healing, when you get your life together, suddenly that bond doesn't seem as strong, does it? That's when you start having to ask yourself a real serious question. And it normally happens like one day you go, wait, do we even like each other? Or is it just we were stuck in the same mess for so long? I'll let that hang with you for a moment. Do you even really like each other? Or are you just still sitting around based because of the mess that you grew up in together? And here's where things get deeper. Because ladies, you know how I like to say to y'all, the deeper the better. Here's where it gets deeper, folks. You're not just bonded by pain, you're chained to it. You are. When you start moving forward, not for nothing, some of you start feeling guilty. You don't want to leave the people that you've already known for so long behind because you were both broken together. But let's be honest, that's when the healing turns to trauma bondage. It's not a healthy connection anymore. It's an emotional prison. And I'm going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Some people don't want to get into the idea of getting better. They want to stay in the chaos with them. They want you to stay there with them. Hey, listen, perhaps something you should really sit there and really think about. Perhaps. Listen, you might you might be right about that. I'm just saying, based on what I'm looking at, based on how I've looked at it, based on the people I've been looking at, especially within the last couple of weeks, especially looking in the last couple of days, it made me want to think about this. Because I think a lot of people, myself included, how I treated a lot of people in my own life before I took a scalpel and started severing myself, I think a lot of people are still stuck there. A lot of people still believe that the people that they are with by association of years, where they come from, what they've been through, say that this is the person that is the ride or die for them. And we're gonna cover that. I think a lot of people are sticking with each other because of the previous chaoses that they came up with each other. And the question that first popped in my mind was a very simple one, because a very simple word, and we all know it, folks. Why? Why? Because if you heal, they're left behind. If you do the work and they haven't, you're not on the same level as anymore. And that's where the control comes in. They need you to stay down so that, number one, they don't feel alone. But number two, you won't also have their mess. And they need you to have their mess because that mess was also once yours. It's not love, it's fear. It's exactly what it is. And that's how you end up staying stuck, folks. Because they start pulling you back into everything that you were trying to get out of. It's no different from two addicts staying with each other. One gets clean, the other one drags the other one back down. They're not supporting your growth. Hell, they're not even really growing with you. They're scared that you're going to outgrow them. And that's where the guilt kicks in. That's where you start thinking about, why are you not doing better? And when they look at you and start seeing you that you start doing better, you know what they turn around and say? I love you too much. I can't let you do that. I have to stop you from getting better. Because if you get better, that means I have to do the work too. or you're going to leave me behind, and I'm not ready for that. Loyalty, folks, loyalty gets twisted in this one. Some of you, some of you are afraid to leave because they were the person who was there when I was down. Well, listen, think about it for a moment. Just because someone was there for you when you were broken does not mean that they deserve to be a place for when you're trying to be healed for the future. You're not betraying them because you're growing. You're giving yourself a chance to thrive. Said that my sound is low. My sound is low. How my sound is low? My sound, you know what? Is what I'm gonna do. Just for you. I'm gonna amplify it in the way I don't even like to. Is my sound good now? I think my sound's good now because I put my mic away a little bit, so my sound should be good now. But let's take a breath. Let's take a breath and let's think about this one. Letting go, letting go doesn't mean forgetting what they did for you. What it means is that you're accepting that your evolution doesn't depend on someone else's dysfunction. And if they can't evolve, especially with you, not for nothing, folks, it is time to move on. It's time to move on. Don't let loyalty trap you in a cycle. You owe your future, or rather, you owe your future to yourself to be healed, to heal yourself. Not for someone who wants to still be stuck in pain, still be stuck in their past, still be stuck in the traumas. So yeah, healing is messy. It's tough. But you can't get you can't let guilt keep you from living your best life. I wish I had a drop. I wish I had a drop. Living my best life. I That's pretty much how I felt when I kept dealing with people who wanted to stay in the past. I was like, living my best life. Y'all should know the rest of it. I wasn't trying to be a part of that. Trauma bonds are real. But also, the thing that's also real is your ability to be able to move forward. That's the real talk. That is absolutely real talk. I hope y'all ready for the second segment because it's gonna get real. But before I even get into there, I'm gonna start looking at some of the things that you talk about in the chat. And the first thing I want to start off with is, of course, Locksmith Jeremy with the 5. He said, "Fake drama bonding is real bullshit. Can't think of one chick for sure on these YouTube streets." Damn, he got someone specific in mind. That is crazy. I don't know. Something that we have to think about. We all have to think about for ourselves. Oh, Josh in the building says nobody is as messed up as me. Eh. Top of the question should be asked to my wife. Yeah, no. Don't shove all the blame on your wife. This is your life, sir. You at the end of the day chose your wife, sir. You did. Don't ask your wife. You're probably just as broken, sir. All right. Fear is so much. I, I personally will say fear is a better motivator than love. I know that's going to sound nasty to a lot of people, but I will tell you that from my own personal experience, fear is a better motivator than love. That's just me personally. Maybe I just don't have enough things, or maybe I don't have things strong enough to. Fear is a lot. Fear is a damn good motivator more than anything else. Just saying. Uh, I mean, do you think bamboo is that important? Do you want to keep eating wood? And I know bamboo shoots, they taste awesome. They are fire. I love a lot of dishes, especially with mixed vegetables that have bamboo in it. But is that what you want to eat? Is that what you really want to eat? Just saying. You're a human being. You're not a panda. No, no, it's not. No, I'm gonna stop you right there. Bamboo is not life. I get it, sir. You're white, but you don't have the black spots. You're not a panda. This isn't Panda Express. Your wife, I know, is not cooking you Panda Express. You don't have to worry about eating bamboo. It's okay. You can eat plenty of other foods that everybody else eats. You don't have to eat wood. You don't even got the same chompers as they do. You don't get the same teeth, the same jaw strength that they do. You can relax. There are other tasty things outside of bamboo. Just saying. Just saying. Alexandrio, what's good? Thank you for showing up. That's what's up. Dominic, what's going on? Love and fear. Perhaps. Perhaps. Fear is the better motivator. It has never been love that made me do some of the most nastiest things to make sure I don't wind up in a bad predicament. It's always been fear. I've been in some pretty nasty spots, and I've been willing to do some pretty heinous things in order to make sure that I wasn't there anymore. Just want to put it out there. Do you know this or disobey your parents out of love or both? Listen, I have done both, sir. I have intentionally done things that I know would disappoint my parents. Intentionally done things. And I have done things that have surprised my parents. And there are plenty of things that my parents have been disappointed in me for. And to be honest with you, I ain't even do it. I didn't even do it. Probably just got looked at me like, you're the one that did. I'm like, I didn't do shit. I didn't do shit. Be it a mother or be it my dad at the time. Like, don't think for some moment that I didn't get shit that got pointed at me that they may have had to eat a little bit of crow for. I'm like, I was with you. I'm like, how could I have done it? I was with you. Or I don't know what happened. I wasn't here, or I was here, and this is what happened. It's like I don't believe you, and I'm like, I know it sounds crazy, but like they say, Arkham Razor, like sometimes it's like the most logical thing, even though if it's illogical, is the thing that actually takes place, and that's just the way of life. Life does that. I have had been. Let's just say this way: we've all been children. We've all had our parents. Sorry if you've been in the orphanage or something like that, so you haven't. We've all been through a situation where we had to defend a crazy thing, even when we're saying it in real time to our parents. We're like, I know this shit sounds crazy when I'm saying it. I know it sounds highly unbelievable, but it was the actual truth. How many of us have been through that as children, as teens, it's like the dog ate the homework thing. Is it bullshit if it's true? You finish up your homework and the dog literally ate it? Is it bullshit if it's true? Your teacher might be like, that's bullshit. But you're like, it literally happened. And I know it's crazy for me to have to explain it to you, but it literally happened. Sometimes you run into that with your parents as well. It's like, I know I'm defending something that doesn't make sense. I know that you think I am full of shit and I'm just straight up blatantly lying to you, but I swear to you, this was real. Things that doesn't seem right. And it's the only excuse that you really have. And you think to yourself, I should have just lied. I should have just made something else up. I should have just did that. Because even I know this shit's far fetched. Come on, we've been there. We've all been there. Just saying. Well, a lot of people can still find things to be fearful of. First thing you're gonna jump on is pain. Do people go to church? Oh, absolutely. There are people who don't. Who the only reason why they believe is out of fear. They are afraid of consequences. They are afraid of judgment. They will literally. There are a lot of listen. I've said this to people who are religious, people who are spiritual and everything, and they be like, "I don't think you should say that." And I say it because, quite frankly, there are a lot of people who think it, and that is your churches, your religions can seem rather mafioso because there are people who will literally be in the pulpit, in the front pews, and everything who will turn around and say, "If you don't pray, you never know what might happen to you." It's almost mafioso. If you don't give your Hail Marys, you don't give your protection prayers, something bad might happen to you. It's fucked up. Fucked up to look at it that way, but a lot of places, they, especially if you come from the old school churches of fire and brimstone, they definitely treated it like it was mafioso. You don't if you don't pay your prayers, motherfucker, something might happen to you. I'm not saying what. I'm saying maybe you need to reconsider what you're thinking about when you're taking communion, because something might happen to you if you don't think about all the things that you should be grateful for. Listen, I can tell you right now, one of the worst things as an adult. Let me tell you one of the worst things I had to deal with as an adult, folks. As much as I had to go through it time in and time out every year, you would have thought I mastered this shit. 365 days, I only had one day that I needed to worry about coming up with a really good excuse, coming up with the truth, or just straight up bullshitting. You know what that day was? And I was stumped every time? Thanksgiving. If you were able to speak to my mom or like my brother or even other family members I have, the one thing, it didn't matter how late I tried to show up, I always try to get away from everybody. I try to get away from the entire family having to say grace. I would show up late. I would blame it on the chick that I was currently with. I would do everything. Like, what time is dinner? Okay, cool. So if I count the train station, which I know is going to be effed up because they're running on weekends, if I did everything I could, I'm going to be late. Grace will already be done. I can grab me a plate. I can grab me some drinks. I'm good. You know, every time I walked in, they were like, "Oh no, we was waiting on you." I was like, "Son of a bitch!" And since you were late, you're the first one that has to say grace. I'm like, "Are you serious? I just walked in the door. I just walked in the door. I gotta be the first one." Damned if you do, damned if you didn't. And damn for sure, if you're sitting there, well, why don't we go around and we come back to me? No, 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 that's all right, sweetheart. We'll wait. We know you got something that you're grateful for. You're like, I'm grateful for, uh, I'm grateful for, come on, you got something. You ain't grateful for other people you with. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The people I'm with. I'm grateful for the train ride. Yeah, I got here safe. I'm grateful for everybody who's here in this room. You making up all kind of shit, and it makes you have to really think about the people that you're dealing with in your regular life as well. Because when you sit there and now you're dealing with your actual friends, the people that you claim that you're the biggest with, you're the most loyal with, you're the people that you've been rocking with for so long, you have to ask yourself, are you grateful for them? Would you even like them if they weren't fucked up? Would you like them? Let me lean into it for you. Let you know what I'm thinking about. When I am looking at all this stuff, I am thinking we got to get a little bit deeper because you know, ladies, the deeper the better. We got to go deep, and I mean deep, right into the heart of what we really don't want to say out loud. Would you even fuck with this person if you met them today? Let me say that again. Would you fuck with this person if you met them today? Think about it. If you and your friend and this friend didn't share the same trauma, didn't have those same ugly, messy past, would you even vibe with this person today? Or would they just be another acquaintance in a crowd? Would you even take the time to get to know them? Now, hold up, hold up, hold up. Before we even get defensive, I'm not talking about the good memories, the good memories that we've had. Remember, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about the real ones, the ones that keep you locked in your friendship because of the shared chaos that you shared. Like when you met, maybe you were both at your lowest of the low. Maybe you were both surviving in a world that, quite frankly, just didn't give a shit about you. So you connected over pain. You found common ground in the hurt. But that's the question, right? What's the glue holding this relationship, this friendship together? Is it shared history of being fucked up together? Or is it the fact that you genuinely like each other's company? And I mean that you have to know the feeling. You're getting your life together, you're growing, you're healing, but here they are, stuck in the same negative loop that they've always been in. And you're not mad at them, by the way. Nah, you're not mad at them. You still care, but let's just keep it a buck. Do you want to keep hanging around with someone who's constantly about their problems? Like they never tried to fix them? Or someone who still have a toxic mindset that you're trying to leave behind? Alex, you say it's love? Could be, could be. But that love can also be, ooh, that love can also be a part of someone who's afraid to let go of their past. That person is a tie back to who they were and what they did to actually get there. Possible? Who knows? Who knows, Sasquatch? Who knows? Hmm. No, because the trauma is the glue itself. The trauma is the shared experience. The trauma, even if your shared experience is, say, I say, like, let's me and Alex. If me and Alex come from the same hood, right? We have a shared experience. She knows what it's like to eat ramen noodles and, I don't know, tuna fish sandwiches or whatever else like that. Because that's what the whole neighborhood understood. That she had the same ride the same trains that I did to get to to get to school or whatever. Like we have that shared experience. That's our trauma. And instead of when she grows or whatever, yeah, some of y'all just don't get past it. They don't. And okay, we're good. Okay, that could work for some. So not everybody does hard work. I would love to agree if even if like one person developed and the other person felt inspired, they grow too. Because sometimes here's the truth of the matter. Here's the truth of the matter. We all went to school. We all went to elementary school to high school. At least I hope so. Some of you went homeschool. I know some people. Not me, Resla. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean. So and then you go through school, you don't have the same people that you know from high school. You don't have the same people that you know from elementary school. outgrown them. You got new friends. Some of your even your closest friends might be people that you actually work with. It is rare that people actually still keep the same people, the same friend circles that they actually grew up with in the neighborhoods because everybody's lives start changing as they get older. So, but I agree with you when you say like nothing is free. And it's not supposed to be easy, but there are people who will limit themselves, hold themselves back based on the fact that they have a connection. They treat it like it's a soul tie rather than doing something better for themselves. That's the thing. I know because you're just toxic. You're toxic. You love problems. You love people with problems. It makes your job easy to arrest them. I know you ain't shit, Josh. That's just what it is. Is that people change, even if the past are similar and you should. True, people grow. Sometimes grow. Yeah, sometimes, and sometimes they grow apart. I agree, but there are some people that, even though they see the other person starting to grow, they hold that person back. You know, some of y'all are staying in friendships, quite frankly, just because you feel guilty. It's really what it is. You feel guilty and you feel like you owe them your time. You feel like you owe them your attention because they were there for you when you were drowning. I've seen this before. You've known each other through the mud, through the mess, and you feel like there's some loyalty that needs to be maintained there. But do you owe them your future? This was a conversation I had to have with a young lady just recently. I've had to have this with people who have a business relationship. It's a harsh truth, but there it is. Healing and the means, what it means to really heal, it's not just a band-aid. It's not just the band-aid that fixes. Because the shit's gonna challenge you. It's gonna challenge the relationship that you have. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the issue actually lies. I think as you rise, as you as they stay stuck, and of course, if you're not careful, you're going to find yourself pretty much dimming your light just to keep them comfortable, to keep them from where they're at because they're comfortable within their darkness. We all know the person that's just comfortable in their hurt, comfortable in their darkness, comfortable blaming other people for why they're not doing well, even if that person has not been in the picture for who knows how long. Years, decades. So let's break it down. If if you weren't both messed up, would you still bring value? Would they still bring value into your life if you weren't still both messed up? Would they still be the person that you call up for a laugh? Would you they'd still be the person that you would call to chill, talk about your wins, your goals? Or would you just see them as, quite frankly, another energy drainer? Just think about it for a moment. Because here's the thing. Sometimes we hold on because we're scared. I know people don't want to admit it that way, but sometimes we're scared. We're scared that if we let go of that person, we'll lose a part of ourselves because there are ties to our former selves, because they represent who we used to be, not who we are today. And that's a scary thought. I've gone through it, and I know plenty of other people have gone through it. Letting go feels like letting go of that past version of you. But let me hit you with this. You're not you're not going to lose who you are. You're going to grow into who you're supposed to be. And a lot of people won't look at it that way. And I know guilt is a bitch. It is. You feel guilty for thinking this way. You feel guilty because you're being selfish. But let me remind you, if if anything is holding on to, if anything that you feel like you're holding on to people who are keeping you in the quote past is the thing that's holding you back from your actual future, you're not doing anyone any favors. You're not doing anyone any favors by dragging them along with you, dragging them along in your healing journey. You think they want to see you stay stuck too? Y'all growth is always a pretty process. Sometimes it's messy, and sometimes it means walking away from people who were once the world to you. And trust me, I get it. It hurts. You feel like you're leaving them behind, and you feel like it's a sense of betrayal. But really, it's a sign of growth. It's a sign of strength. You have to ask yourself a very simple thing. Can you keep hanging around people who keep trying to drag you back to your worst version of yourself? Or is it time to elevate your circle and move forward? Because some people, they like messiness. Messiness does not it is not synonymous with growth. It's not. It's not synonymous with growth. It is. That absolutely is a thing. Can be. A lot of people put up a lot of excuses as to why they stick around. This isn't just about marriage. Not for nothing. I know plenty of people that are married. They don't even consider their spouse their best friend. You hear this freaking ambulance coming by. A lot of people don't see their spouses as their best friend. I don't understand why. Like, surely you have other friends outside of your spouse. So I don't understand the whole marriage and vows thing have anything to do with it. That can be anyone who you look at as a friend, anyone that you look at as someone you like to spend attention and time with, anyone that you might even look at outside of your spouse as a quote confidant. It's not a marriage thing. It's not a spouse thing. It's about the people that you enjoy spending time with, the people who who you've garnered trust with. I agree. Ah, what? What? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to deal with them. I don't think everybody does, but I agree that we need to. Well, that might be part of the conversation that you find a crutch that we're disagreeing on because you say you don't have friends. And I would say that you should. Outside of your spouse, you should have friends. I can tell you I don't have a lot, but you should still have friends outside of your immediate partner. And I'm not going to read into your situation, but it means like to me, it says that outside of your partner, you spend a lot of your other time either working or whatever else like that. And if you love doing that, that's cool. But isn't there anything else that you would like to be doing that you can bring to your partner and say, this was the great thing that I did today with so and so, or we had fun doing such and such? And it doesn't necessarily mean that they had to be with you. I love to I like to experience things to be able to come to my partner and say something to her, and she's like, "That's awesome. I like we have to do that next time." I don't want to drag I don't like to drag sand to the beach. Sometimes I like to say, "This is the kind of sand that I experienced over there. Would love to have you there next time." I'm a kind of person that when I go out, right? This is just me. Just me, James. I'm the kind of person that like when I go out, when I go somewhere, I like to build experiences so that when I am there with my partner, with my girl, I already know the beat. I know everything around. So there is no figuring it out and finding it out and shit just being haywire. I already know this is the great place to go. This is where to eat. This is where we go. This is what's already in this area. Like she ain't got to worry about nothing because I know where it's at already. Less work for her to do. That tends to be easier on me than we're indecisive because we both don't know the layout of the land. That's just how I've had to do it a lot of times. That's my I have no such thing. I don't know what you think that. That is not a thing. Yeah, you're right. And sometimes you could be a different person and not been around a particular person for a long time. And the moment you get back with them after how many years, you may find old tendencies coming back to your old self that you didn't want to be anymore. You can notice that as well happen. You can notice that as well happen. Let me tell you something real quick. The How do I want to say this? You don't need anyone in your life who doesn't inspire you to be better. You don't. When I think about this situation, I kind of think of the movie. If you remember it, I don't remember all the movie. I just remember some particular parts. Save the Last Dance. One dude going to be a doctor, and the other one just want to be in the streets. But every time the one that's in the doctor trying to be there, he just fall back into nasty habits, being around this guy, getting in his own way. You hear this? Everybody's dying today. It's a Wednesday, folks. It's hump day. Why is everybody dying on hump day? And this is why I know I probably should have been a doctor. It's just way too much work. But then that means I would never get any sleep because this shit happens so often. Just want to put that out there. That's a public service announcement to my other self somewhere. You never get sleep, Negro. Anyway, I'm thinking about people who like basically want to be around you, but quite frankly, they don't you basically want people around you who's gonna make sure that they inspire you to make sure that you do better things? To me, I think that is monumental. I think this is why I like people who like they're gym rats. Typically, it's a culture of people who like to big each other up. I think for a lot of people, if they're not on that same growth wavelength, that they basically start to feel like there's a weight between them. And even if they don't mean to, if they don't start putting a lot of the work into healing, you're gonna run across a lot of people who are divisive. And they're divisive by letting people drag them back down into the past. Now, I know you might be thinking, but Resla, they were there when they were there when there was no one else. They helped me through the darkest times that I've been through. I can't just give that up. But here's the truth. That's this is the truth that's really gonna be difficult for you. Difficult to swallow. People can love you and you can love them, that doesn't mean that they're there and they're meant to be in your lives forever. Healing needs evolving. And when you grow, sometimes that means that the people that you grew up with can't go forward with you anymore. And guess what? That's okay. That's okay. Let me put it to you like this. Think about the friendships you've had in your life. Maybe it was a friend that you stuck by throughout all of your life, through all the brokenness, throughout the chaotic times. Now you look at who you were versus who you are. Now you're getting together. You're looking at your healed self. You're starting to see in life all the different things, all the different paths that you have and how you could have been there. Mentally, emotionally, financially, and you heal. You realize that you're not anyone who was there during that low moment that deserves to be with that person at the bottom. You are now at the top, they are at the bottom. Just saying. Shout out to NPC. What what is the NPC says? He says, if the only reason you like someone is because they're messed up, then you don't really like them. You like chaos, the struggle, or the way that they make you feel needed. Yeah, that's absolutely right. A lot of us are tied to that. A lot of us are tied to the areas that we grew up in, the people that we build friendships over, just strictly over struggle, over bonding, over hard times, over neighborhoods that we grew up in. I agree. Some people are best loved from afar. Couldn't have said it better. Absolutely true. You can't stay stuck because you feel guilty. You can't. You owe it to yourself to outgrow the mess. Your journey should be a solo one, at least for a while. And the people who genuinely love you will respect that. They should respect that. So think about it. When you start to level up, right? You start to see people who they really are. And sometimes they're now who you thought they were. You might even think that you're helping them by keeping them around. But really, you're holding yourself back. That's just what it is. And I need you to think about people in your life that you think if I just keep them around, they'll learn from me or they'll be curious enough to build up whatever. But the truth of the matter is that you're looking at them and they're still doing the same bullshit that always keeps them back. They still get in their own ways. They still do the effort. They still want you now, who's in a better position to help them with their shit rather than they do extra work to emulate you and what you're doing to get better. And that's what makes this so difficult, right? It's hard to leave. It's hard to leave behind people who are the people that we once looked at as ride or dies, especially when it comes when you yourself are at your worst. But again, you don't owe them in your future. You don't owe them your growth. You don't owe them your peace. If they're not growing with you, then they're just growing apart, especially from your past. And your future deserves better than that. If you don't think so, that's pretty interesting, but I think you deserve better than that. So I want to ask you again, would you even like them if you weren't fucked up? Looking back at it now, would this person that you're thinking about, would you really rock with them today if you weren't fucked up back then? If things actually turned out differently? Would you still choose them in your healed, grown up ass life today? Or Are you holding on because it's easier than letting go? The real question, let me paint the scene. Let me break it down. Let me give you the rundown. Imagine you're at a brunch spot. Imagine you're at a brunch spot. You're doing good in life. You're doing good. You're looking good. You're feeling good. You're smelling good. You just good. You good all around. You a good motherfucker. Maybe you just got a raise. You sipping on mimosas, feeling sophisticated. You grown now. Now imagine your traumatic trauma friend. Yeah. The one you've been thinking about this whole time we've been talking about. They walk in. But this is the first time y'all meeting. They sit down across from you and they start talking. Tell me, based on what you know this person, what's the vibe? Do they pull you into a conversation about business, about travel, about leveling up? Or do they hit you with, girl, let me tell you about what this dude did now? Or, bruh, I swear, everybody's fake. I'm about to cut everybody off. Be honest. How fast would you finish that drink and pretend like you got somewhere else to be? How quickly would you do it? I'm not going to make the decision for you. I know what I would do. How quickly would you be out that door? Or would you sit there and entertain the boo? Because you see, it's easy to call someone your day to day, your day one, when you're both broken, when you're both depressed, when you're both surviving off of ramen. But now that you're leveled up, are they still your day one? Are they just a reminder of what you did when you were struggling? And hey, if you're vibing with the truth tonight, I want to say this, guys. Don't forget to support the show. Don't forget to support the show, guys. Don't. Don't forget to actually help support the show because we're trying to do some next thing, especially we're trying to get everything built up for next quarter, which is not far from now, folks. So let's just keep the conversation and, of course, the train rolling. If you listen, you guys already know everything that you guys donate, everything that you guys help out for gets us closer to all our channel aspects. This is the only way we can go into deeper conversations and we can have more sophisticated people, more people who are really about building and development and growth. By having the real tough conversations, not just the ones that need to get derailed, not just the ones that get trolled by other people who are not trying to really have the conversation because they have personal beefs. And not for nothing, shout out to everybody who's already supporting the channel. I appreciate you. I do think somehow, some way, we should have a little bit more support up in this bitch. Because quite frankly, I don't know why. And I'm just gonna say this is my small little rant. I'm not gonna make it long. I'm not gonna make it long. You got your boy here. I am trying to bring forth real thoughtful, meaningful conversations. Sometimes we get a little bit of effery, sometimes a little bit of yelling, things in between. And I appreciate you guys for that because I understand that arguments can get a little bit of contentious. But I can see content creators who have been in the game for less than a year or they're just making a year and they have had 5,000 subscribers. Your boy has been here for over a year and he only has less than a K. And it makes me wonder why. Is it because I'm just not bringing you enough arguments? Is it just because I'm not bringing you true crime or I'm not bringing you political stuff? Or I'm trying to figure out what is it that I'm doing it. What is it that I'm doing that's wrong? Because as far as I know, we're really trying to have critical thought. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people just don't want to think for themselves. I could be wrong. I thought people really want to discover how to really be able to assess how other people are moving rather than just be told what to do, what to think, how to move, how to spend their money, how they should treat their spouse rather than figuring out how they treat the spouse. Not actually listening, picking up listening skills, knowing what to say and how to say things, and instead of just speaking off of emotion and always find themselves in the worst parts. Maybe it's me. Maybe you rather just hear this from ladies. You don't really just want to hear this from a guy. Although I gotta be honest with you, there's not many ladies telling you this type of shit. There's not. Maybe I'm not pretty enough for you. That's why I'm not having a lot of subscribers. I'm not pretty enough for you. I just don't understand how there are some people who turn around and shoot off of subscribers. And I've seen many content creators. I'm not saying anyone close. I look at a lot of different content creators. And I look at their stuff and I go, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why do they have so many subscribers? I don't get it. And they don't even stay long. They don't really pitch anything to you. They just sit there practically and let other people do the work. I'm thinking they must be pretty. They must be better looking than me. And it can't be the guys. So when I'm talking, I mainly see it from ladies. And maybe it's just the ladies, congratulating and bigging up the other ladies. Because for some reason, when it comes to ladies, they shoot up in subscribers. Don't promise a goddamn thing, by the way, but hard-earned work, hard-earned dollars, and hard-earned subscribers just flow in. And if I'm just not cute enough, just let me know if I'm not cute enough. I can't do anything to change that, though. But I can give you some shit that basically you don't see on a lot of other people's channels, which tends to be, let's just be honest, folks, fuckery. I try to give you a little bit of the sour, and I try to give you a little bit of the sweet as well. And speaking of people who try to give me sour and sweet, thank you very much. Krazy Mommas says, keep on keeping on. Love your topics. It's like, you're pretty, Resla. I appreciate you. Maybe pretty is not the word. Maybe handsome. Maybe sexy. I get it. I get it. I ain't in the gym as much as I should. I'm not bulked up but I've never been a big guy, ladies. I can't give you the pecs. I'm not going to sit here in a fucking tank shop or a white beater and just have you with the tits like dun, 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 dun. I'm not going to do that. Even if I put my pecs up, I'm not going to do all that. I'm not. I don't want to grift. I'm just trying to have a regular conversation. I'm trying to have us think. I'm trying to have us have good conversations, stimulating shit. But I get it. I get it if that's just not appealing. I get it. I just want to know what I'm doing wrong so that we can get it flowing together. And speaking of flowing it together, I want to get into my next topic, which is going to be pretty much about loyalty and pretty much a hostage situation. It's a hostage situation. Look. Speaking of another I didn't ask you if you thought I was pretty, Joshua. I didn't ask you. I don't want your opinion on my looks. All right? What the hell? No. Choppy probably for you. I'm looking at all my other stuff. All my other stuff is nice and crispy. So I have to work on your signal a little bit. All right. So let's get a little bit into this. I think we should get a little bit into this because loyalty is the word. For some reason, it's a word that gets tossed around a lot. It's a lot. Like someone was scared, untouchable, even. Someone talks about loyalty, but few actually know what it means. And I think we should break that down just a little bit because we're going into some real talk right now. When we talk about loyalty, it should be rooted in mutual respect. It should be rooted in trust. It should be rooted in understanding that people in a relationship are growing, not holding each other back. Difference. Loyalty means that I've got your back, but also I trust you enough. I trust you enough to let you go when it's time for you to evolve. And a lot of people do not reach that state. Be honest with you. They don't. But too many times, we confuse loyalty with something darker, something that feels more like emotional blackmail. Here's the thing. Some people use loyalty as, quite frankly, a leash. They claim loyalty, but what they really are saying is never leave me. Even if I'm toxic, don't leave me. They want you stuck in the same place that they are, holding you down so that basically you can never face not only your own fears, but also face their situation, their stagnation. And let's just be real. Let's keep it a buck here. How many of us have been in that situation before? I have. Don't get me wrong. Loyalty is not a bad thing. In fact, it's one of the most beautiful qualities in a friendship. But it becomes a problem when you're loyal to someone who doesn't want growth, who doesn't want change, who consistently pulls back into their toxic cycles. It's like you're stuck in a loop. Always trying to be there, for when they start to get their shit together, for when they stay glued in their own mess and you're trying to get them out of it. And the worst part, just to be honest, they guilt trip you. They guilt trip you into trying to break them free. Why are you doing too much? Stop. They say things like you're acting fake or you bougie or worse. You changed. And here's where things get tricky. When you're starting to heal, when you're starting to grow, when you're starting to pull yourself out of that darkness, out of that hole that you've been in, that's when they really start to turn on you. All of a sudden, you're the bad guy. You're the bad girl. You're the bad person for not being stuck in you. You're the one who's switching up. But let's be real. The only one who's really switched up, the only person that's really stuck in that mindset is them. You have decided that you're not going to be sinking in with them any longer just because they don't want to float. You're trying to swim, at least learning how to. You're trying to evolve. I think, you know what? You know what really gets me? Emotional manipulation. Because sometimes you don't always see exactly when it's happening. It bothers me because they know your weaknesses. They know the pain that both of you have shared. They know how to use that against you. They are, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little thinking about people in my own past who have definitely used that kind of stuff against me. I'm not talking about the one-off incident. Nah, that's not it. I'm talking about the long-term game, the long game. They keep you in their lives, dangling the past struggles in front of you, like it's a goddamn carrot on a stick. Every time you try to break away from them, they remind you just how much they were there for you. They remind you of the days when you were both drowning and that they were the ones who were there who understood you. And guess what? That's where the loyalty card needs to get pulled. That's not loyalty, is it? It's not loyalty, fam. That's a hostage behavior. You're being emotionally held captive, captivated by guilt. Because if you leave, if you do better, if you heal, you're afraid what they're going to say to you. You're afraid of them turning on you and spreading your business, making you out to be the villain. And listen, folks, if you're ever threatened like that, then you need to know if someone is willing to be using that kind of darkness against you. Because in their darkest moments, they will use it against you to keep you in their life. They were never really your friend. They weren't. Now, let me break it down to you even further. Because real loyalty, the kind that lifts you up, that doesn't feel like a burden, it doesn't come with chains. It doesn't come with ultimatums. You don't feel guilty for stepping into your power. You don't feel like you have to shrink yourself in order to stay in orbit. When the loyalty is right, just right, it's like a foundation. You find strength in the both of you. You build each other up. But when it's wrong, it feels like shackles. It keeps you in one place, forever wondering why you're struck, why you've been stuck in the first place. And trust me, those people who threaten you, who play dirty tactics like that, they're not your friends. Not for nothing, they're your ops. That's the opposition, folks. I don't care how many years you spend with them. That's your ops. And what do we do with our ops, folks? We cut them loose. I know some of y'all look back and say, oh, but the years that we've had together, stop. Cut them loose. Send them packing. It's not just being heartless. It's about being smart. You have to ask yourself, who am I saying? No, even better. Who am I saving by staying loyal to a person because they are loyal to themselves? They are loyal to only keeping themselves from growing. They are loyal to only holding me back. It's time for me to let them go. And here's the harsh truth: the people who love you and who want to see you win will never hold you back. In fact, you can't get enough of them because they're always cheering you on. Always. Sometimes loyalty means walking away from the people you thought you needed. Sometimes it means cutting off the ones who, not for nothing, been holding you back, holding back your growth, keeping you hostage, no matter how much history you've got together. And don't get it twisted. Leaving them behind isn't betrayal, it's preservation. It's you choosing yourself and your future over the chaos that they have been trying to drag you back into. I mean, just let me know if I'm wrong. I'm literally, I know I'm speaking from personal experience, but I'm also speaking from people that I've had to coach and train and I've heard all day shit for so long. Let me know if I'm wrong about this. I know this is something that I know a lot of people go through. As I hear Josh in here pretty much blaming everything on his wife. It's just observation and the things that I've learned over time, just hearing things. My experience is just my experience. I agree. A lot of people are not aware of manipulation. So how do we take care of that? Damn. You said always blame the wife? I fall back up to what you said, Alex. I fall back. You should be surprised. Not for nothing, Josh. You keep this up, you might actually get confused with imperious. Just saying. I think the real question is, I'm I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's been a little bit weird today, but I'm doing all right. I think the real question is, are you loyal to the person that are you loyal to the person they were, or are you loyal to the person that they become? I think that's the way we should look at it. And it because people grow every day. That doesn't mean that they become the best version of themselves. And more importantly, are they loyal to the person that you've become? If no one told you this, I'm gonna be the one to say it. You deserve better than someone who is holding you back just because they're in their comfort zone. Real loyalty doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like freedom. So let's stop pretending it's loyalty when it's just emotional manipulation. Because at some point, boundaries are going to get crossed. And when boundaries get crossed, they're going to call you fake. Not everybody wants to hear what you have to say, especially when it comes to the point where they have to measure themselves and they say, "Oh, you think you're better than me?" It's like you're a threat. You're a threat to their comfort zone. Like you're betraying them just because you're choosing peace over chaos. So, hey, I can't be around that negativity anymore. And they're like, what? You leaving me behind now? Huh? You think you too good for me now? Hmm? Let me, you think that you growing? You think that you're growing? That you think you're going to abandon me? Nah, fam. And after nothing, you just have to look at them and say, I'm just evolving. And that means that you are uncomfortable. And it's not my fault. So what do you do about that? Because they're going to accuse you. They're going to accuse you of switching up. They're going to accuse you of being too good for the old crew. And the truth of the matter is that you're not too good. You're just not broken anymore. You're doing the hard work. And if they really can't handle it, they just can't handle it. I think your healing is a spotlight. It's a spotlight on all their wounds. And they'd rather keep you broken than to face their own shit. They'll guilt you into feeling like you're crazy too. They'll say things like, you've changed. You're acting different. Well, yeah, I am. And guess what? It's called growth. And you should be different too. Because it's too uncomfortable for them to see that it's better for them. They'll spend your personal growth into something that they can weaponize. And that's when you really need to take a step back, evaluate everything that's happening, and really ask yourself the real big question. Are they really a friend? Or are they just comfortable with you being stuck in the same place in the same cycle as them? Just saying. Scared to walk away from toxic people. So Part of the reason why I'm looking at this, I've had people that turn around and say it's hard for them to walk away because they say that their best friend is their sister. I'm like, where's the confusion? Walk away. Walk away. Walk away. But they won't. They're like, it's my blood. I'm like, there's plenty of blood that walked away. I get it. There's guilt. I get it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But those friends are gonna call you fake anyway, just because you decide not to be part of that bullshit anymore. And here's the cold truth: you are the one person doing the hard work. It's not them. You're the one person who's choosing to put yourself out there. You're the only person who's choosing to put the effort into healing, to getting better. And if they can't handle the boundaries that you're setting up, either you're saying, I got to do better, I'm not cutting you off, I just need to put you here, and they can't take that, just cut the shit off together. You got to face the fact. They're holding you back. And you keeping them around is not helping you. And too many people get stuck around doing that. And that's where we have to grow apart. No, I'm definitely trying to destroy the BS. Absolutely. Healing is absolutely something that we all need to do. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to wrap this up with basically talking about outgrowing someone to make sure that you're not being betrayed. Because look, some people are not going to be perfect. Or I say some people, a lot of people are not going to be perfect. But some people who were perfect for some reason in their mind, they weren't exactly who we needed them when we were in survivor mode. But for seasons that change, people change, and sometimes that means that we're no longer the right people, the right fit for each other. And that should be okay. I think that you can love someone and still love them. You can love someone and still leave them. You can appreciate what they did without you dragging them into the future. And you can appreciate them in a way that, quite frankly, you don't get dragged into your past. It's not disrespect. It's just evolution. I want y'all to really sit with that. Evolution. Growth doesn't always look like a grand gesture. It might not even be about cutting people off like dramatically with these huge ass exits and burning bridges and shit. It may not be that. Sometimes growth is simply you just outgrowing a particular dynamic that is no longer serving you. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And it doesn't mean that they are either. But it does mean something has changed, something has shifted. And real friends, they evolve with you. I hope that you guys actually take the time to realize who exactly are the people who are with you, who exactly are the people who are just pretending to be your friends, who are just sticking around waiting for you to possibly just come up in the world, and those that's going to be your best benefits. The thing is, a lot of people are afraid of growing alone. They're scared that if they outgrow their old circle, they're going to wind up being isolated, abandoned, or even alone. But that's not the truth. The truth is the right people will always find you, regardless of where you are. That's it. I don't think I really have that much more to really say on that. I think that we can all find a way to do better for ourselves. So I guess I will leave you with some final thoughts. I think your future deserves some space. Sometimes the people who hold you back, it's just not going to be the people who are going to be the ones that's going to be best for your future. And I think a lot of you should be looking at that, and that's going to be okay. Okay, I've said it for a while. I would say don't let guilt keep you stuck. Don't let loyalty turn into chains, because you deserve friendships, you deserve nourishment, you deserve to be able to heal, to be the best person for yourself. And it's not one that you should be depending on a person who's be dealing in pain. With that being said, uh, I don't think I'm gonna do open panel quite today, because I got to sort out a couple of things. But I will do is I'll just pass you on to someone else. Anyway, guys, this has been Opinionated with yours truly, Resla. I'm gonna work on a couple of things. I got to get ready for a few things, especially going up to next quarter, which will be in April. I need you to choose your circles wisely, because you're the only ones who have to live with it. With that being said, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and stay opinionated. Appreciate you all who supported tonight.